Imagine you're walking through a DVD store, picking movies to buy based on the cover art alone. You come across DVDs for Arrival and Hurry Up Tomorrow. I'm sure most of us can agree the Hurry Up Tomorrow cover art is more intriguing and visually striking. If you are unfamiliar with either film, I bet the majority of you would be more inclined to purchase Hurry Up Tomorrow than Arrival, which just goes to show how big an impact a good movie poster can have. How often have you been scrolling on Letterboxd only to click on a film you've never heard of because it has a cool poster? It's happened to me more times than I can count, and it got me thinking, what exact qualities make for good or bad movie posters? In this video, I aim to answer that question, as well as analyze the different styles of movie posters out there. But before I continue, it seems like 98.9% of you aren't subscribed. I would greatly appreciate it if you can get that number down. I recently made a video discussing the importance of movie titles, and much of what I said there can be applied here. Similarly to a good title, good posters must be instantly recognizable. If you're looking at a list on Letterboxd, you should be able to tell which film is which without needing to read any text. There are many ways to achieve this, such as through a distinct color palette or creative composition. Look at House, Greener Grass, or Eyes Wide Shut. These are one of my favorite types of posters, where one color takes up most of the space and the focus is placed on a single image, logo, or art piece. It's simple, yet memorable. Many of the most iconic posters of all time are structured like this, such as Jaws, Annie Hall, and Jurassic Park. For posters like this to work, the focal point must evoke some kind of emotion, like the eroticism of Eyes Wide Shut or the bizarreness of Greener Grass. A bad example of this kind of poster would be Dr. Sleep. It's nothing more than a reference to The Shining, and an awkwardly executed one at that. Another one I don't like is To Roam With Love. I normally quite like Woody Allen's minimalist posters, such as the aforementioned Annie Hall, but this one just feels uninspired. However, when it comes to bad movie posters, nothing beats the classic convoluted floating heads poster. Look at how lifeless this Captain America Brave New World poster is. It has no personality and only exists to shove in as many famous faces as possible. Compare it to this other poster for the same film, which also isn't perfect, but at least has an identity of its own. Floating head posters are by far the most common type for modern studio blockbusters, and 95% of the time, they're bad. They rely entirely on recognizable faces to sell the film. There's nothing artistic about this Black Adam poster. It's just a mess, which I suppose is somewhat representative of the film itself. But then there's the 5% of floating head posters that actually have some personality and serve a purpose beyond making money. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood successfully mimics the 1960s Hollywood aesthetic. Mandy has a striking color palette and more purposeful composition than most posters of this type. And you know what? For an MCU poster, I kinda like what Thunderbolts is doing. It's playful and creative. While good floating head posters are rare, another one of my favorite types is the maximalist poster. Ones that go all out with expressive art styles, vibrant colors, or unconventional ideas. I know that's a broad definition, but it's more of a vibe than a strict category. For example, I love the harsh lighting and neon colors in this Japanese Spring Breakers poster. The Everything Everywhere All at Once poster is a stunning work of art. I have no idea who came up with the absurd concept for this election poster, but either way I think it's brilliant. And how could I not mention the Boogie Nights zipper poster? It perfectly fits the tone of the film. Of course, there are misses too, such as this A History of Violence poster, which I don't hate, but definitely feel misses the mark. What's interesting is that this A History of Violence poster was released by Criterion. For those unfamiliar, Criterion is a home entertainment distribution company that focuses on important classic and contemporary films. They're known for their custom posters, which are almost always incredible. Some of my favorites include Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters, Dazed and Confused, The Cameraman, and Masculine Feminine. Of course there are some disappointments here and there, like Breathless and Citizen Kane, but for the most part, Criterion seems to understand the importance of good movie posters better than anyone else. The truth is, there's no mathematical equation for what makes a good movie poster. The way I see it, if a poster looks good and fits the film's tone, it's a success. What's important to remember is that a film's poster and title are usually the first two things a person associates with it, and they can single-handedly determine whether someone watches the film or not. A good poster doesn't improve a film's quality, but it can absolutely elevate its reputation and spark curiosity. Recently, A24 released a couple of posters for Backrooms, which has quickly become one of the most highly anticipated films of the year. These posters are distinct, ominous, and memorable, perfect for sparking conversation. If you came across one in a DVD store, it would probably catch your eye. And that's really what this is all about. In conclusion, the art of designing a movie poster is not something to overlook. If you're buying a physical copy of your favorite film, you want it to look good on your shelf. And even more so if you're putting a poster on your wall, it cannot be ugly. So to all the filmmakers out there, do yourself a favor and put some effort into your posters. It's a win-win for everyone. And you know what? That's all I have to say for now. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.